his chance! And Charlie Wellens has scored! Goodness me! In the 5th minute of additional time and put Leyton Orient in front. And Leyton Orient have come from behind and surely have picked up 3 precious points.
For coverage of today's Sky EFL League One fixture between Wycombe Wanderers and Leyton Orient, of course. Joining me in the studio is Richard Lewis. I'm Dickie Davis. I'm taking care of things just while Ollie Buck's away just for this game. Richard, very, very quickly, confident about today? Because, I mean, both sides bang in form.
Both sides really are, but Orient are here after two wins without receiving a goal. Good foundation, so yeah, I think they could have a good, strong afternoon. But as you say, Wycombe are a hard side to break down.
We've got a lot to get through this afternoon, and in a moment we'll hear from a player who's had a resurgent of late, Azim Abdullahi. But first, we're going to hear from the assistant head coach, Paul Terry, right after this word from our sponsors.
Is lunch at work awesome? If so, tune out now. If not, keep listening. Picture this: chef-made meals from local restaurants brought right into your workplace. No sad sandwiches, no tired menus. By tapping into the local restaurant scene, Fuda powers workplace dining for companies across the US, giving teams flavor, convenience, and authenticity. Half of Glassdoor's best places to work have partnered with Fuda. Is your team ready to upgrade its workplace food scene? Find out how at fuda.com. That's FOODA.com.
PT, Wycombe to come on Saturday, but first off, how's the squad looking? Because it was a real physical test at Tamworth on Monday.
Yeah, squad's looking good. Everyone's fit and available for the game. So we got through Monday okay. Obviously the win, which was the most important thing now.
What are the main differences in terms of the physical challenges between a grass pitch and a artificial one?
It's just hard. The ball doesn't move as quick. It gets stuck under your feet when you're trying to dribble with it. You know, and it's physically demanding on your body, the pounding all the time. So it does take it out of you a little bit. But I thought the lads adapted really well. We didn't make any excuses with it. We just said to the lads, get on with it. It's another pitch, another game. Go and win the game, basically. It wasn't pretty, but it's all about getting in the next round.
Yeah, not a pretty one, as you say, but we did get through it. What was most pleasing for you and the staff?
Pleasing was the attitude. I thought we defended really, really well. And that's from the front all the way back. Defended their long throws, which are a massive, massive threat as well. But we dealt with it really well and then managed to carve out the one chance that we scored from.
And I think it's 5 wins in 6 for us now in all competitions. Just what's the mood like around the place?
The mood's good. The mood's always been good. That's never been a problem with the lads. You know, getting them up for things or motivated for training is never a problem. They're a great set of lads. And I'm just pleased now the performances are getting the rewards on the pitch, but it's only the start. You know, we can't rest on our laurels. We've got to keep going. Another tough game Saturday, and we need to go into that full of confidence, but also know that there's a tough job on our hands as well.
Over the last couple of seasons, it's taken us to sort of this time of year to really click into gear. Do you feel like we're kind of getting towards that point now?
We're getting there. You know, there's still a lot more from this team that can come. You know what I mean? But we are slowly getting there. We're keeping people fit now. The squad's big and there's competition for places now. So if you've got the shirt, you've got to keep hold of it. And I think the lads are responding to that really well, putting in performances and grinding things out as well when we have to.
The mood is, I'd say it's high. Obviously we've won the last 3 out of 4, I think, including the virtual trophy. I think we just want to keep building on that. The clean sheets come from everyone, not just the defenders. And I think we've just focused more about being better in both boxes, albeit we've had a few 1-0s, but winning the game is better than nothing really. So I think just continuing the basics, I'd say. I enjoyed it. I didn't really enjoy the pitch because I'm not really used to it, and it's quite tough on the body, but I enjoyed it. I think everyone enjoys the FA Cup, to be honest. And obviously I was glad that we got the win. I think the pitch was tough because, one, we're not used to it, and 2, it's just completely different to grass. Like, on grass you can do things in 2 touches, but sometimes it'll take you 2 or 3 touches to settle yourself. Also, like just turning's different because it's not as soft, I don't think, and the ball bounces weird. I can't explain it. It was just a weird feeling, but we got the job done. I didn't know what to expect, like how they were going to play. I knew they had the throw-in, but the battle, like, they were fighting, obviously, like National League side, trying to go far in the competition because it's a big thing for them, I think, financially. I think the boys dug in deep. We fought as well. I think the fans know that we can fight. I think we showed it on Monday. Every team, I think, that competes in it, I think they find it massive because not only is it's good you get to play against teams that you're not playing against weekly. Like we played Tamworth and now we're playing Salford, and hopefully we win that one. Who knows who we can get. And then it's the same for Tamworth. Like last season they played Tottenham. So I just think it's a massive competition. Also for the club, like financially I know it does well. Last season I was here for the Man City game, I just couldn't play, but the place was bouncing, everyone was speaking about it. I just think if we won that game it would have been an even bigger season. To be back in the team, I've been patient, like just waiting on my time. I started against Lincoln, I think I've done well. I think I just need to show the fans like what I'm really about, because I've probably not showed it. It's probably down to me, but I think hopefully get a consistent run of games and just show everyone what I'm really about. The frustrating thing is I know how good I can be, but maybe to the fans they don't know, like they probably just think what they've seen, like the odd 15-20 minutes that maybe I'm not who I was last season when I first joined, but I think it'll come with games. Like it was frustrating, but I think I'm not the only person it's going to happen to in football. Just kept my head down and kept working. Past two games, obviously, both 1-0 wins that I played in, so it was tough, but I think I've showed, like, even the coaching staff and the fans that I'll do whatever to play. Like, I always run, I'll try and create things, I'll do the defensive work. But I just think hopefully I get a good run now to show the fans. Back in league action playing Wycombe, we're looking to win, obviously, look to win every game. I think it's important that we win on Saturday because I feel like over these next few months is when the leagues take shape, if you can say that. So I think just going into like the Christmas run with as many wins as possible, and more so the away wins, because I think we always perform really well at home, so hopefully we can take the home form to the away games now and just kick on from there.
Honest interview there from Abdullahi. Let's talk, guys, just very briefly about that. He says in there he's not quite hitting the heights that he did last season. A little bit frustrated he's got more to show. Would that be a fair assessment?
I think it's a good reflection, but obviously there were big heights last year. He joined in January and did very well straight away. And I think we said last time, it's still early days, but he seems very honest about things, which I think is a good thing. He's not looking back to last year too much and say, I've got to match that straight away, but he is very honest.
As you can see as well now, joining us is Terry Howard, of course, host defender and club legend. Thanks for joining us, Terry. How would you assess his season? How do you think he's done so far?
Well, as he's mentioned, it's been a bit frustrating for him. I think he's been in and out the side, probably a bit more game time, more minutes. I think there's a player in there for sure, you know. I just think I'm not too sure what his best position is, you know. I think with his athleticism, he could play as an 8 or a 10 maybe, or even like fitting alongside Sean Clare. You know, I think tracking back wise, he's quick enough. But I think we're still yet to see the best of him.
Let's look at today's game. You've had a bit of a look at Wycombe. Richard, what do you make of them? Because since Michael Duff's come in, they've been terrific.
They really have. I've got a close friend who's a Wycombe fan, and he was so frustrated with their start to the season. Michael Duff came in September. They've lost one league match since then. Okay, they got beaten by Fulham in the Carabao Cup, but technically that was a draw because they got beaten on penalties. Cordy Woodrow scored 4 times in the last 3 matches. And it's amazing they're 18th because they're in such consistent form at the moment and a really hard side to break down. And one great stat I saw today, it'd be interesting, what do you think of this, Terry? That they're the only team in League One who haven't conceded a goal from a corner this year. In fact, they haven't conceded a goal since February from a corner. So whether Orient have looked at that Is that a good thing or bad thing with set pieces today? So there's lots of impressive stuff about Wycombe at the moment.
As Richard says, their position in the league, it almost looks like a fourth position. Got you coming into this, two clubs banging form. What have you made of Orient lately, and how confident should they be going into this? Bearing in mind, last season was a dreadful defeat for them.
Yeah, I think they've addressed the problem at the back. We were conceding far too many goals, and you mentioned set pieces. It's been a little bit of a weak spot for us over the last season or two. We've certainly tightened up. I was very impressed with the way they defended the long throw against Tamworth. I thought we dealt with it very well. And generally, as a team, we look better defensively, defending from the front. Before, I felt it was a little bit too easy to come through our midfield. That'll be pivotal again today, protecting that back four, which I don't think we've done particularly well this season.
I think that's a fair point, because Azim says that in there as well. We spoke to El Mazouni a couple of weeks ago after he'd scored the winner in the game. I talked about defensively strength, and he said, well, that's a team effort. Azim's made the same point again, saying we're better off defending from the front. But also, they've clearly tightened things up, because not scoring as many, not conceding as many, but the results are definitely going their way now. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think, if you're looking at the teams that do well, you can't keep conceding goals like we did. Richie and his teams obviously looked at this, and as I say, they've addressed it well. Another tough test today. Be interested to see how we defend set pieces again, because I say it's a definite improvement there. I think Hayo on goal has been in very good form. It looks a lot more settled there. I think it was mentioned that I think we fielded the same 11 for the first time in a long time against Tamworth. There was no changes to the team. And we say football's all about, establishing partnerships and understanding. And we just look better trying to defend against teams than we did maybe in the early part of the season.
Yeah, if we could just take a look at the teams for today's game. Obviously, we'll start with the Orient side to start with. Unchanged again, which kind of is always really a good sign. If everyone's staying fit, but only played, Monday gives you another 4 or 5 days, but it's a good sign. Players are clearly staying fit, but he's happy with the way they're performing at the moment.
Exactly. If you've got that consistency and you can bring out the same team, and I think we've got to remember that the last 2 matches, Lincoln, very tough match. Which
first 15, they could have been 2 or 3 up.
Exactly, and even Tamworth the other night, they may not have had that many chances, but they were a threat throughout, and Orient weathered that storm throughout, and at no time really, even when Orient were the last 10-15 minutes after they went ahead, did they look like conceding. And as you say, with the goalkeeper who's looking good, if it builds from there, there's a good consistency at the minute. Let's not jump the gun too much, but two matches in a row with wins without conceding is a good feeling.
And for you, Terry, the way they set up, if we just look at that formation again, the Orient formation, look at the way they set up, you think that's the best formation, the best way at the moment for this side to play?
I think so. As I say, we've got to maintain that solidity. I think we're more than capable of going to score goals with the players we've got up front. But I think, as I say, Richie's just sort of erred on the side of caution a little bit, and it's working at the moment. You say we're having these 1-0 results, which is always, I remember as a player, as a defender, it was also always so satisfying to win 1-0. Because you feel like you've done your job. And I think, look at Arsenal at the moment. They look. That's what everyone's trying to emulate. That absolute solid from front to back. And as I say, at the moment, that's something we're doing so much better.
Cool. Just to remind everyone, today's game is available to live stream outside of the UK and Ireland on Orient Live. The EFL broadcast deal means that all of our league games are available to live stream outside of the UK and Ireland during 2025 to 2026. Domestic live streaming is not available due to the broadcast agreement, but selected games, including all midweek fixtures, will be available to watch on Sky Sports Plus in the UK, while overseas fans can buy a live video match pass for today for just £10 by heading to leytonorient.com, where overseas subscriptions are also available. An annual overseas subscription is priced at just £195, which equates to less than £5 per game across the full season. Right. Slight change of tack now. Let's head across the Atlantic to speak to one of our international fans. Luke Tucker is joining us. Luke, more importantly, where are you and what time is it?
Well, yeah, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me today. This is really full circle moment for me. I watch every game on Orient Live, so this is awesome. I'm calling from Naperville, Illinois. It's a suburb outside of Chicago, and it is 6:20 a.m.
So normally for 3 o'clock you'd prefer, 12 o'clock you're having to get up a little bit early to watch your boys.
Yeah. I'm more used to the 3 p.m. kickoffs in the UK, so it would be 9 a.m. here. But it's an early morning here, 6:30 kickoff. So, but I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
Good. Get your cup of coffee going. Where did your love of Orient begin, Luke?
Yeah, so a few years ago, I got the chance to study abroad in East London at Queen Mary University of London. And I've always loved football, and I've loved the culture around it and the communities around it. So I really wanted to experience that for myself. So I did some research. I saw that Leyton Orient, which is 2 stops down on the Central Line. So I knew I had to take advantage of that. And I made them really my home team. I did a lot of research before. My girlfriend got me my first Leyton Orient scarf before I made it to town. So I was all kitted up before I got to my first match. And once I got there, everybody kind of took me under their wing and was like, why are you an American supporting Leyton Orient? So, yeah, it was a funny moment.
How do you share it abroad? Have you got any fans nearby? Do you speak to other fans from America on Zoom, or do you ever catch up?
Yeah, it's definitely hard. It's a small group of us for sure. So I've converted my entire immediate family into Leyton Orient supporters. So some of them are going to be up here this morning watching with me. So those are the main people I talk about it with. My dad is a huge fan of Leyton Orient now, which is super fun to see.
How much of your life does it take up, dare I ask?
You know, it's starting to take up more and more, and I love it. That's exactly how I'd want it. I wish it would take up even more of my life, because I wish I could be at Brisbane Road every weekend watching the games, but I have to do it from overseas right now. But yeah, I really enjoy everything about Leyton Orient, and I feel like it is half of my life right now.
Tell us about your social media accounts and what they do and where we can find them as well, Luke.
Yeah, so I'm on all platforms. I run an account called the Leyton Orient Way, which I kind of see as an outlet for American and international fans to, get hooked on Leyton Orient and all the cool stories that there are, because I feel like those small stories about the club and the authenticity and the closeness you can get to the supporters and the players, that's really what got me hooked on the club. So I want to show that to as many American and international supporters to hopefully convert them to Leyton Orient supporters too.
Do you get to watch every game, and when are you next planning to come over?
I get to watch pretty much every game, which is super fun for me through the Orient Live broadcast. Like I said, it's fun listening to Dave Victor every morning. And I'm actually super excited because I'm coming over next week for the first time since I studied abroad. And I'm going to be coming to 2 home matches against Exeter City, as long as it doesn't get postponed there. And then I'm also going to be for Blackpool. And then I'm going on my first ever away day to Burton Albion, which is going to be super fun.
So be honest, did you have to come over anyway, or did you make sure that whenever you came over, you tied in as many games as you could possibly get in?
The Leyton Orient was one of the main things that we were planning this trip around. So we were planning on probably coming over around the Thanksgiving time, but we made sure that I could fit in 3 Orient matches, which is what I see as the most important part of the trip.
I love the fact that your family are over now and that everyone at 6:30 in the morning is crowded around the TV ready to watch Orient play this afternoon, but obviously this morning for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so cool. I never expected that this smaller team in East London would be consuming so much of my life. And I think I'm probably the only American with a Leyton Orient shrine in my bedroom here.
Yeah, I think your El Mazzuni shirts will be few and far between, I think, in Illinois, I'll be honest with
you. Yeah, I think so.
Hey, Luke, thanks ever so much for joining us. Hope the result goes your way. And, of course, have a fantastic trip and enjoy the games when you come over. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. I mean, isn't it great? The beauty of football is that there's someone other side of the world, okay, in America, but just, loving Orient and all that it's got to offer.
It's what it's all about. It's what it's all about, and you think you couldn't imagine that beforehand, could you? But the fact, and I'm sure there's probably more Orient fans all over the world. All over the world.
Incredible. Rob, it's got some big news coming up. It's in a fortnight's time. The clubs are really excited to announce that it promises to be a wonderful weekend here in East London with both the O's men's and women's first teams in action. On Saturday the 22nd of November, from the graphic on the right, Richie Wellens' side will take on Blackpool at the BetRight Stadium, with that match kicking off at 3 p.m. And less than 24 hours later at 1 p.m. on Sunday 23rd of November, Jason Stevens' women's teams will host AFC Bournemouth in the second round of the Adobe Women's FA Cup And what's more, entry for the women's team fixture, which will pit the O's against the Cherries from the 3rd tier, will be completely free. So come along if you can to both games, which would be fantastic. If we could just have a quick look at the Wycombe team ahead of today's game. Richard, you mentioned it, that the obviously Corley Woodrow banging form, 4 goals in 3 games. But the way you've seen them play and the way I've watched them in recent weeks and the goals going in, again, they can kind of score from almost anywhere. There's a couple from outside the box. Woodrow's, is a great poacher inside the box.
Absolutely, yeah, and Casey and Mullins are good players that Orient have got to watch out for. But as we're chatting just now, we're just thinking, of course, both these sides got to the playoff semi-finals last year. Wycombe got beaten by Charlton and then Orient got beaten. And I'm just wondering, they're one's 16th now, one's 18th now. Terry, as a player, do you think, sorry to even ask the question.
Not at all.
But as a player, is there an after effect, do you think, when you've almost succeeded in one year? So then it's interesting how they're both, in the lower part of the table.
There certainly can. Yeah, there certainly can be. I mean, expectation would have been high for Wycombe and Orient this season. I think, as we all know, unfortunately, Richie's more had to rebuild the team again, and this is the issue now. There's so many loan players that come into the lower divisions that it's a problem for most teams that they sort of almost start from scratch each season. Certainly, from our point of view, it was about this time last year that we started really taking off. Players like Jamie Donnelly started to find their feet in division. So hopefully, we're looking at that again. Whether we can do that again, I'm not so sure. I think a lot depends on keeping Aaron Connolly fit and keeping Alfie Lloyd fit. I mean, Alfie Lloyd, we haven't he's sort of come from QPR, got injured in the first training session. He's such an interesting player to have as a backup at the moment, and it'd be interesting to see how that develops over the next few weeks. But they're the sort of players that we need to come into the side and really hit the ground running now, like we've done, like last season. So I think we were lying something like 4th, 5th bottom.
You made that point last week.
We were, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
third,
you could fully expect teams like Wycombe and Orient to make. I mean, Wycombe are making their move now. As you said, the fact that they're on this great run and they're still only 18th, did you say?
Yeah.
Just goes to show you, that how well they've done to get where they are. And if they continue this run, they're going to be up on the fringes of playoffs in a week or two.
Thanks, guys. Very quickly, we're going to turn over to the game now with Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock, and of course, it's Remembrance weekend.
We invite leading cadet Alex Taylor and veterans Henry Rice and Ken Hay to give 2 short readings.
Good afternoon and welcome to Adams. Our best about to start the service of Remembrance. There'll be the last cut and then a minute's silence. The players currently around the centre circle, and we'll hand you over now.
They should grow not old, as we who are left grow old. They age should not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them.
Well, the silence impeccably observed by both sets of supporters, and of course for the O's we remember Private William Jonas, Private George Scott and Company Sergeant Major Leyton Orient unchanged for the third successive time, Matt. That's been a while.
Yeah, I think that comes along, Dave. That now is the reason why we see this afternoon the O's, as you say, unchanged from. Obviously makes things a lot easier for the manager when it comes to selection, doesn't it? 3 wins, 3 clean sheets. Let's hope it's a 4th this afternoon.
Michael Duff did make changes, nevertheless they were able to overcome Plymouth Argyle, but this is the same starting 11 that put 3 past his former club Huddersfield Town last time they were here at Adams Park.
Yeah, they made 4 changes from the team that beat Plymouth Argyle last week in the FA Cup, but they've started to develop some consistency, Michael Duff, since he was appointed on the 18th of September. It's just 1 games, and put into that as well, they really did run Fulham close in the quarter-final of the League Cup, narrowly beaten on penalties. Odney Adimma, the man who had the agonising penalty miss. But don't make any moans about it, Dave, this will be a tough game.
And of course, in that competition, it was Wycombe Wanderers who beat Leyton Orient. Bright sunshine here. It's causing you a few problems, isn't it, Matt?
Well, it's refreshing, Dave, that we are. But it's so mild. I've taken the coat off. I'm just wearing a jumper at the moment. These are lovely conditions to watch the game. And as you say, the sun peering through the trees behind the main stand at Adams Park. But that won't cause us a problem. Might do for the goalkeepers later on, but at the moment, no issue for either man in the sticks.
The other early kick-off in the division is not too far away from him. Northampton take on Man City. Is the Chairboys to get the game off and underway in the quartered shirts, dark blue, light blue, black shorts and sky blue socks. Leyton Orient this afternoon in all red, and it's Wycombe Wanderers attacking the end away to our left as we sit opposite the TV cameras in the main stand, and it means that Wycombe are attacking the end where those travelling fans are situated, despite difficulties on the train.